Are we live? Are we on?
It's time for Two Guys and a Beer. Sit back and join the guys as they turn up a cold one and talk about sports, politics, and current events. Nothing fancy, just two politically incorrect guys who aren't trying to change the world or get rich quick. They're just here for the beer.
Cochran, your host, along with my co-host, Jason Cochran. And we're here in beautiful Maryville, Tennessee at Smoky Mountain Harley-Davidson. We're in the shed. We're actually in the private recording studio for the owner up here, Scott Maddox, at the shed in Maryville right next door to Smoky Mountain Harley-Davidson. This is a pretty awesome building, isn't it, Jason? What do you think about it?
It's filthy.
Yeah, this is great.
Filthy in a good term.
In a good term.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the stuff on the wall. You know, that's
disgusting.
That's cool. Look, you've got all these awesome posters from the people that have played here.
One thing we need to do is
you can't steal anything off.
We need to work on your slang, right? So you just said cool. Cool is not a good word anymore. If you want to say something's awesome, you say that's disgusting.
Nasty.
That's gross. That means it's really cool.
Yeah, okay. Well, I just won't be involved in that. I guess I'll be out on the old dude slang from then on.
These pictures are. I mean, the things on the wall are really cool. I mean,
I like.
There's a lot of character in this. It'd be actually an awesome restaurant. I know they got a little restaurant on the side of this private building, but this would be an awesome restaurant or just an awesome bar. I mean, I know they can open it up where this is.
Right. They do that sometimes when they have special events. They'll open that up.
I wish he'd get a liquor license. I mean, it'd probably be more, aggravation for him, but it's kind of. I mean, you can only get beer here, so I guess bikers drink beer more than they drink liquor.
Well, yeah, you can. As a motorcyclist, you don't mind having a beer or two, and after a couple hours. I mean, I know I'm not proposing that, but I'm just saying a lot of us will have a beer or two and eat, and then with our meal, and then ride back home. But you really don't want to do the liquor thing. That really gets you into trouble.
Gets you in a lot of trouble.
So, all right. So on this episode, we want to give a special shout out to our sponsor this week, and our sponsor is Smoky Mountain Harley-Davidson at the Shed.
Did you just take my 5 minutes of thunder there?
Well, you've been slacking here.
What are you talking about? I have a sponsor every weekend. Or every show, I mean.
No, you said last time you didn't have one, that she let you down. It was a holiday.
Well, that was because it was a holiday. I don't know why I was working on a holiday either. I was just kind of upset.
Because I'm the red parrot. I'm the boss. And I get paid $10,000, and nobody knows what I do, but everybody calls me boss.
You're the parrot that gets strangled because he wants too many friggin' crackers.
Well, anyway, Smoky Mountain Harley-Davidson in Maryville, Tennessee is our sponsor for this show. And besides the one here in Maryville, they also have a dealership in Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. They have one at the Cherry Skyway, and one in Tallahassee. I can't remember how to pronounce that, but it's right there at the tail of the Dragon, 129. They also have one in London, Kentucky. So if you're at any of those dealerships, stop by. Tell them Two Guys and a Beer sent you by there. They won't know what you're talking about, but it'll sound good.
You can say Two Guys and a Beer sent you, and then say the host of it owns U.S. Rider News.
And then might know what they're talking about.
They probably know what you're talking about. Or they could say Smoky Mountain Rumble.
There you go. The Smoky Mountain Rumble is going on this weekend, and you still got time to get out here. Tonight we've got a great show tonight coming up at 8 o'clock, and I should know who's playing, but right at the moment I don't.
Don't look at me.
But tomorrow night is also another show, and I don't know who's playing there.
Who's putting this thing on?
Well, you can tell I really didn't have anything to do with the entertainment. I really had the Shed did the entertainment for us. They booked the bands, and but I did listen to them on YouTube, And tonight's band is they've got a woman singer that does an awesome job. So, but anyway, just come check them out. And here we go.
I just want you to look above you. There's a Texas license plate, 1967, and the plate says KYJ 55. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I don't think about KY jelly. I know you do, but I don't. Oh, Hardwired.
I didn't. I was thinking about something completely. KYJ brought to mind.
Kentucky?
KY jelly.
It did bring that to me. Kentucky. What are you thinking?
I mean,
see, that's what you were thinking too.
But
you trying to hang me out to dry. Tonight's Hardwired Lodo and the Lodo show with Hardwired. They do an excellent job. Tomorrow night is Whitey Morgan in the 78s along with Zach Ryan and the Renegades. Tonight it's only $5 to get in. If you ride your bike in, it's free. And tomorrow night it's $10 to get in. So you guys come on out to the shed. Also come check out the vendors at Smoky Mountain Rumble. All right, Jason, you are going to tell us a little bit about football. This being Friday. Tomorrow is football around the SEC.
Yeah. Georgia's going to lose. Bless you.
Yeah, well, Georgia's – listen, I don't know why you like to start and pick on Georgia, but just because Florida didn't really play anybody.
I didn't say anything about Florida.
I'm just saying.
Hey, listen, here's the thing. I don't buy the argument of, Florida didn't play anybody the first week, because the schedule – is made about 8 years in advance. So the schedule Georgia's playing this week.
What does that have to do with anything? How long is it made in advance?
Because nobody knew 8 years ago Clemson was going to be any good.
That doesn't matter.
It matters completely. Clemson 10 years ago was a shitty team.
Okay, 2 years ago they were a shitty team, but what's that got to do with anything?
Because, hey, listen, in 10 years, Florida played Toledo. Toledo could be a really good team.
You're still not listening to me.
They're
not a team this year, so it doesn't matter what they'll be in 10 years. What are you talking about?
But I'm saying the schedule.
That's like saying I could beat up a kindergartner, but one day he's going to kick my ass.
If you look at that kindergartner and say we're going to fight in 10 years,
then if you get beat, I'm fighting him today. In 10 years, he might whoop me, but I'm fighting him today.
You're not making a valid argument. That argument has no validity.
No, you're not either. You just like to pick on Georgia. Sure, Georgia lost.
You're playing a team that when you made the schedule, you did not think could beat you. That's why you put them at the beginning of the year. Georgia's people did not put Clemson at the beginning of the year because they thought, this will be a good test for top 10 teams.
If they'd have wanted to pick a team, they knew there was no way in 10 years they were going to beat us. They would have picked Georgia Southern.
Name the last year Clemson was good.
The year they won the ACC, which was 2000.
No.
They didn't win 2002, whatever it was, 2001. I don't know. See, I don't keep up with.
See, exactly. That's the whole point. You don't know the last year they were good. Now, name the last year.
What is this? A trivia?
I'm just saying.
Let's get off of this. Tell me who's playing. Tell me who's playing, and tell me what we should watch this weekend.
Okay, Florida versus Miami. Florida's going to go in and beat the brakes off the Hurricanes at their stadium. Who knows what it's called anymore? I don't think they play at the Orange Bowl. But Florida's going to beat Miami. Georgia's going to lose to South Carolina.
Not going to happen.
Do you want to make a bet?
Georgia's going to win. Georgia's going to win this week. All right, so you're picking Florida. I'm picking Miami. You're picking South Carolina. I'm picking Georgia.
So I'm going to go 2-0, and you're going to go 0-2.
I see why a while ago why you're just nutting up on me, because ESPN's got Georgia at number 11 and Florida at number 12 on their power rankings, so that's what's pissed you off.
That don't make me mad at all.
Okay, anyway.
Because it only matters the first week in November when we see y'all, and then we beat the brakes off of you.
Yeah.
And then Georgia Southern's going to beat Florida, so it's just going to really not matter.
Golly. I can tell you live in a fantasy world. What are you, like a porn star in a fantasy world?
At least I don't live in a Barbie world like yourself.
All right, well, speaking of college teams, is the one thing we've learned since we've been in Maryville. One thing that you've learned, and that is
Tennessee fans are loyal. They will, even when they suck, they're prideful.
They are very prideful.
There is more orange in this friggin' state than I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
There's more orange here than there is on Mars.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a red planet.
I was going to say.
But it's the same thing. It looks orange from here.
Okay. right beside our booth out here at the Smoky Mountain Rumble, the
lady
woman's
had a
wearing
Tennessee shirt on.
wearing a Tennessee shirt, and she's from Kentucky, and she's wearing a Tennessee shirt. I think there's some kind of law that you have to wear a Tennessee shirt if you
even in Southeast Georgia, where we're from, which is the heart of dog country. There are more dog fans there than there are anywhere in the world, and I will put money on that. All right, I do not see that much Georgia gear, or maybe the color red and black doesn't just piss me off like the color light bright orange. It's a light bright orange. I don't know why you do that.
You know why that bright orange pisses you off? Because Tennessee used to whip Florida's ass.
No, they didn't. See, there you go again, making statements that you really, I don't think, have an idea of what you're talking about. For the past 14 years, Florida has dominated Tennessee. That's why when I mention to people down here that I am a Florida fan, they give me the evilest eye there is.
Oh, they hate you?
Yes. And I'm okay with that. Hey, there's a guy right in there, literally saw a Florida Gator shirt in here, and I went, what
and we should say right in there, he's pointing to the kitchen. Because we're
in the kitchen, right. And if you hear any noise, we're in the private area, and there's a kitchen on the other side of us.
And the waitresses are coming back and forth.
To get the food.
I kind of feel like an Italian mafia guy who always has his seat next to the kitchen. You feel like that? You ever feel like that?
In the back, where nobody can see what you're doing, talking about killing.
Well, and they do that so he's a little isolated, so that, the average customer can't come in and go, "Hey, there's Nicky, let's whack him."
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so we're back in the back.
At least if they were going to whack me, they'd have to open that door, which the waitress up there was real quick at stopping us.
Did the waitress put the
brakes on us?
If
I was going to whack somebody, I would have just came in here and
anyway, you'd have popped the waitress.
Like on that movie. Do you want me to beat your dick off? Because I will beat it off with both hands.
Yeah, tell them the name of that movie. So
21 Jump Street.
Because our last show was about the straight guy who loved. Did you saw what I posted? How I posted on Facebook? The two guys humping. So we just want to be clear with our references here. All right, so you did make a point there that depending on where you're from depends on your level of hate for the team. So True. Tennessee hates Florida. We hate Florida because Florida's been spanking our butt. But
forever.
We don't hate Vandy fans.
Nobody hates a Vanderbilt fan.
Nobody hates Vanderbilt fans.
Nobody walks up to a Vanderbilt fan and goes, "Your school fucking sucks."
Yeah, and everybody hates Alabama. Because Alabama's been whipping everybody's ass.
Well, but 10 years ago,
right.
I've always hated Alabama just because of their cockiness, just because we're Alabama. And it's true, you are Alabama.
And I made the comment before, but because you said it about Vince Dooley at Georgia, but hey, Bear Bryant, he's won some national championships, but he had Forrest Gump.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Anybody could have won with Forrest Gump.
Here's my thing about Alabama: I really don't know how long it takes the average Alabamian to spell Alabama, because I'm pretty sure at a young age they grow up thinking Alabama is spelled HILLBILLY. I mean. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. I don't know how long it takes them to learn that, but I've got some Alabama fans. They're friends. They're good people.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Alabama people. I'm just picking.
I'm just picking at you. We love you, even though you're morons.
And the thing about it is they're also Auburn fans over there, but they don't.
Oh, listen, you want to see something, boy? You need to be in Alabama during the Iron Bowl. I was in Alabama last year during the Iron Bowl, leading up to the Iron Bowl, and it was in Gadsden, close, not really close to either one. And I mean, it's worse than Georgia Tech. It is. I don't know. Florida. I guess Florida didn't have that kind of rivalry in state, but
with Florida State, Florida State, that's pretty big. People in Florida and people in Tallahassee, they don't like each other. Just because Florida. Well, just because Gainesville. Sorry, I say Florida because we're the best. But people in Tallahassee have a problem because Florida State was
his mic off.
Florida State was an all-girl school, so they have a
trivia.
They have a problem with a school that wasn't founded on the Y chromosome, or is it the X chromosome?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one or the other.
It's one of the two. Hey, is that your phone?
It is. It is. So
I could feel the table. I could feel the table. Yeah. Are you about to talk on the phone?
No, I'm gonna send a text. Can I do that? And
talk
you
send a text. Are you gonna talk, or do you want me to talk?
Well, you go ahead while I send this text, but I'll I can multitask.
Do you want me to turn into the silent guest on you? Because apparently, I can
multitask.
Yeah, that was super awkward.
Yeah.
You're not multitasking very well. And, the person who's calling me right now, I'd like to give a huge shout-out to. I want to tell you I love you, and I hope you feel better. And I can't answer the phone because I'm on the air. And I'm sorry you're sick. And I'll get you some ice cream later because I know you like ice cream when you're sick. And I'm talking about my mom.
Yeah, she was feeling bad last night.
Yeah, I love you, Mom. Just shout out to you. I hope you feel better. I know you're going to listen to the show because you're probably our most loyal listener.
She said she fell asleep during the last one, though.
Yeah, well, I fall asleep.
Stayed up late.
I fall asleep watching some of my favorite shows. So,
you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to mention that school was
in. Now school is in. You guys got a late pass.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't have it turned up good either. So.
Man, you know what? Sam Adams Oktoberfest is a fucking delicious beer.
It tastes like Pabst Blue Ribbon. I swear it does.
You just don't drink beer. This is his beer preference. It goes from Michelob Ultra to Bud Light Lime to now he drinks.
I drink Ultra most of the time.
You love Bud Light Lime.
I mean, I'll drink a little Bud Light Lime. There's nothing wrong with Bud Light Lime. I mean,
if you're a 17-year-old girl,
I could drink a Corona and it wouldn't be.
Corona's pissed. Now, if you drink a Dos Equis, you don't want a lime because a Dos Equis is just pure gold Mexican beer. All right.
It's some fat Mexican guy named Juan who's peeing in a vat. I'm just saying.
This is the word. Here we go with bad analogies. I mean, how do you start off with some fat Mexican guy named Juan peeing in a vat?
You don't like the image because next time you go to drink a Dos Equis, you're going to see Juan or Pedro
you know what I'm gonna see?
Standing over the vat going,
you know what I'm going to see when I go to drink a Dos Equis? I'm going to see a gray-haired man with an awesome goatee telling me how cool I am for drinking it.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, it's Dos Equis.
Was that like a French... American Spanish accent?
That's a Frenchican. That's a Frenchican. Frenchican. Yeah.
Wow. That's a
French Tino.
You want me to tell you what that is? That's a fucked up German person.
Hey, speaking of German, I hear the last guy that saw Adolf Hitler alive just died.
Oh, yeah, I posted that on Twitter today.
Yeah, that must be where I got it. How old was he? Was he 90?
He was the ripe old age of who gives a fuck. That's how old he was.
You wish you could live to that ripe old age. You do.
Well, no. I mean, you know what? Listen, here's how relevant this guy was. I was the last person who saw Hitler alive. I don't know. What was that?
Well, it's a piece of history.
What is it? No.
Was the last guy that saw Elvis alive?
The toilet? There was a guy
the tidy bowl man.
There was a guy in there saying, "Don't sniff that cocaine off the toilet, Elvis. I've done told you. Don't do it."
Oh,
there's
man.
bacteria and it doesn't go in the mouth. Elvis, just thinking about that, I just wonder how much or how the drugs started with him, or with I guess with anybody
it starts with every entertainer the same way. They
meet Dewey Cox. You don't want no part of this, Dewey? Oh, I think I do. What does it do? This is marijuana. It makes everything real funny, and you get real hungry after.
or they meet John Goodman from the movie Airplane.
The Denzel movie.
Crash or whatever that movie was. Yeah, John Goodman. Well, that was the greatest part. It was
hilarious.
John Goodman played that part.
The worst part about that movie is we were in there with a bunch of old fuckers.
And we were laughing.
And we were
the only people laughing.
Nobody else were laughing.
Nobody thought that part was funny when he came in with all the drugs.
I thought it was hilarious. And it was in the nudie magazines. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I was
okay, so back to the entertainers.
They start that because they need to stay up. They need the energy. Because when you've got to go on, you're doing a show, you need to be at the top of your game because you want to give everybody the best show you can. And that's what happens when you start. And then most of the shows are 8, 9 o'clock. So they do the drugs 7, 8, 9, maybe right before they go on. Well, what happens is they do an hour show, but I don't know if you know, but I know from just research and seeing it, you do a couple lines of cocaine, you're up for 4, 5, 6, 8 hours. I mean, you're
not true.
Hey,
Depends on, one, the cocaine you get.
And I'm sure they got the best shit.
Well, you would think that, but Michael Vick had what he thought was weed, and it was oregano. When he was passing
Vick just
through
had
the
the
airport.
wrong handler.
Well,
I mean,
what I'm saying is you would think they get the best stuff, but they're people just like us, and they're going through illegal means to get it just like us if we were getting drugs.
They've got a guy getting it for them.
Well,
I'm sure Michael fired his guy. Hey, you got me oregano?
Dude, this was oregano?
I'm going to snuff your ass, you know?
I'm going to put one of my bulldogs on you.
I'm serious.
Well, it ain't my bulldog, but I'm going to tell my cousin.
My cousin has them dogs. Yeah, but I'm just what I'm saying. That's what happens. They get the good stuff. They stay up. From what I've read, from what I've heard them say.
The thing about it is, most of those people probably started off doing some kind of marijuana. You know?
I don't buy that.
Yep, most of them smoke marijuana.
I don't believe. I don't know. Maybe so, but I'm thinking in the '60s.
You want me to tell you why you never made it as a musician? Musician. Because you didn't smoke marijuana.
That was it.
On a regular.
That was what I needed to do.
It didn't get your creative juices flowing, baby. You know what? You were that kid who just sat around and watched everybody else smoke and play instruments. And you were that nerdy kid over there trying to learn how to play it on your own. And all you need to do was take a little dose of LSD.
See, that's what I'm... In the 60s, marijuana was prevalent, but LSD was the drug of choice. So... But anyway, we got far afield on that.
The big drug now is Molly, which is MDMA, which is a pure form of ecstasy, which is a meth-based drug. And kids nowadays are just overdosing hardcore on it. I mean, they're going to these raves, they're going to these house parties. These. When I say house, I mean that doom 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 type of music, and they're just ingesting this ecstasy drug that gives you that high rate of euphoria. And they're not drinking water. They're not doing the things you're supposed to do with it. And the way you die of this drug is it just basically sucks up, all you get dehydrated. You get a real elevated heart rate. And these are things you can't really tell when you're in the mood, when you're dancing, like they are. They're jumping up and down, dancing, sweating real hard. And they shut down a concert in New York because 3 people died.
Really?
Mm-hmm. 3 young girls, I believe it was. Overdosed on this drug, MDMA.
During the show, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, and they died. And
wow.
They shut the whole thing down. And there were big names like Bass Nectar, and which if you've never seen I'm sure you've heard of him, but or heard of him, but they shut the whole thing down. I mean, even ABC Today, or what's the morning news show?
Well, you have NBC, ABC, CBS.
Well, it's one of the news show, Good Morning America.
Yeah.
They tweeted, or it was I can't remember if it was Good Morning America or some other NBC news show. I can't remember. But anyhow, they tweeted a link to, a guy who had wrote a big piece on it about how it's a drug epidemic now. But shit, that thing's it's been going on since the early 90s. House music never really, the early 90s house music gained its popularity back from the early 80s.
Yeah.
Right. And so the house music's been that type of electronic dubsteppy house type music has been going on since the 90s, but now it's just catching on popularity because of this drug, Molly, that's causing everybody just to enjoy it, I guess, so much more.
I don't really get that. I guess I understand it on one level, but it's a case of perception. They really can't see how great life is at that age, and they feel like they need to enhance it with this drug. But man, when you're 17, 18, 19 years old, life is pretty damn good.
There's no doubt about it.
I mean, really.
There's no doubt about it. When you're in
got
college,
no bills, you got nothing to worry about. Somebody else is taking care of your shit. Your life is pretty damn good. So why are you doing Molly? I don't understand that. I don't understand what the deal is. Why you care about it? But they do it, and it's.
I mean, if you've never done it, it's a fun drug. I'm not saying I've done it, but it's fun.
Well, every drug is fun. Is there a drug? Really?
I'm sure if you take acid can be
acid's fun.
Acid can be fun, but it also can be very bad. There's nobody who's ever tripped on Molly, or you don't really trip on. There's nobody who's ever done that drug who went, this wasn't fun. I guarantee you.
Well, maybe it
is a euphoric drug. LSD is not a euphoric type of. Your whole body turns into like jello, and you can feel music pulsing through you, which you can, but if you're not a good person, if you're a sick-minded freak and you take acid, that's just gonna enhance. You're just gonna be the weirdest type guy in the world, or girl, and you're going to.
Same way if you smoke pot. I mean, if you're a weird guy and you smoke pot, you just get weirder. Everybody I've ever known that way. They didn't mellow out. If they were nuts, they just got nuttier. You know, so even if they drink beer, I mean, liquor, beer, whatever they do, they're just getting nuttier. So you're saying Molly doesn't do that?
No.
So if you take Molly and you're not at a place, you just let's say you're just chilling at the house watching, and you take a little Molly.
What it's going to do? I mean, you do cocaine somewhere, and you're just sitting at the house. You're going to feel the need to tell somebody something about your life. You're going to feel the need to tell them a story. That's why car salesmen are notorious cokeheads, because they need to connect, and it's very easy to connect and try to tell somebody a story when you're on cocaine.
When you're coking.
Yeah.
When you're
skiing on the slopes.
Skiing on the slopes. So, well,
I mean,
now
I just
got my drug lesson for the day. Now I know what I'm doing.
If you need a drug lesson, I went to college. I know them all.
You know them all.
I know them all.
All the new drugs and all the stuff
all the new drugs
right now.
Like there, like the other week we talked about that drug,
Crazy Clown.
That incense.
But you didn't know anything about Crazy Clown.
Well, Crazy Clown, I've never heard nobody say Crazy Clown, but that's the incense smoking is the same thing as smoking that. What did I call it? The
oregano?
No, fuck. I talked about it on that last show. It's the same thing as smoking spice.
Spice is what you said, yeah.
I mean, spice is used as an incense. That's what it's for. You're supposed to put it on the table or put it in some kind of bowl and just light it up, and it's supposed to burn on its own and create a smell.
Okay. All right. Well,
it just happens to mentally retard your brain, or, I mean, not retard, it F's you up. You know, I've known people who smoke marijuana, and he's a relative of ours. I'm not going to say his name, but he smoked marijuana and literally had, like, visions of things. I mean, in his mind, he was doing this, but he was just paranoid out of his brain, you know, and was thinking, I don't know. But he told me a story about one time he was in a tent, or he'd smoked, and then he went to the tent, and he said he could see things happen before they happened. And then he saw the tent close in on him, so he had to get out of the tent because it was closing in around him. I mean, but that was just his anxiety. That was his anxiety amplified, you know. And he didn't accept the fact that, hey, I'm high. I'm doing this for fun. You know, that's the problem. Is he was just like, you know what I mean? But anyhow, you're right. Most drugs can do that to you, but Molly and cocaine aren't normally the type of drugs that make you act like that. They're uppers. They're going to make you pop off at the mouth and just run around and talk, which,
all right, well,
if I was to do cocaine, I already talk too much. If I was to do cocaine, there would be somebody who would say, shut the hell up. See? If I was on cocaine, that would be it.
That would be you barking. You'd just be barking and shit. And by the way, in case you heard that, that's Ray. That's the show dog. The official dog of Two Guys and a Beer.
She was sleeping good, but there was so much traffic in and out of here, she just got woke up.
Yeah.
And she's not going to stop barking because we're going to keep talking.
And as long as we're talking, she just thinks we should get over there and get her. You know, it looks like your beer is, and that's what we talked about. So this is your beer that you tried. You forgot to mention that this is your new beer that you're trying for the show.
It's not my new beer, but it's Oktoberfest.
It's the Oktoberfest beer.
St. Adams Oktoberfest. It comes out every year. It's an absolutely delicious seasonal beer they put out. It's probably their best seasonal beer. You know, they put out their summer shanty and their Alpine Springs and their winter lager and things like that. But this Oktoberfest beer is unbelievably good. And I'm not a beer connoisseur, so I can't tell you, it brings you these spices and these tastes.
It tastes like Pabst Blue Ribbon to me.
We did talk about it. You said it tastes like Pabst Blue Ribbon, and I told you.
But we didn't
stupid.
talk about that was the beer of
the show. Yeah.
So.
Man, did we really just talk about drugs for like 15 minutes?
We did for 15 minutes, yeah. So, you know, and you really showed that you know a lot more than I thought you knew, and it kind of worried me.
I went to college.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, it's hard to go to college without knowing somebody who's done drugs and finding out about them. And I mean, I experimented with drugs before. Is that bad to say? No, because it taught me lessons, and I learned from it. I don't experiment with drugs now.
I guess what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right. And, you know, it's like I tell people.
So I guess you just won't ever get elected right there, because they'll just bring this back up. Mr. Cochran, I understand you experimented with drugs.
And you know what? I can say, yes, I'd be a good advocate for the war on drugs, because I would cancel that shit out. Spend too much money on it. But, I mean, now I'm never going to get elected. But
no, that's right.
But
join the club. I didn't get elected.
The thing about it is, you know, that girl that was our waitress the other night, Shauna Lynn.
And Shauna, did you ever listen to the show? No.
I don't know. But she, was talking about how she smokes every now and then, right?
And
what's the one thing I looked at her and
offer
said?
That up to you.
What's the one thing I looked at her and said?
I don't remember.
I told her, I said, you should stop because it robs your ambition.
Oh, you did say that. You did say it robs your ambition. She said, no, it doesn't.
But and the thing is when you smoke, you don't think that.
There you go.
But when you stop,
you realize.
When you go, shit, I was just sinking in a black hole, not doing anything.
Stoner. Yeah, I didn't want to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you feel, and there's nothing wrong with what you think is what you have now is awesome.
Enough.
Yeah,
awesome.
But it's not. There's no drive in that. There's no getting better. And everybody, you should strive to be better every day.
Yeah.
So, and marijuana doesn't let you do that.
Because life is like a river. If you're not striving to get forward or get ahead, go upstream, it's taking you downstream.
Yeah. I feel like that was a song.
No, a dream is like a river. Ever changing as it goes.
Garth Brooks. Is that Garth Brooks?
It is. Yeah. And the dreamer is just a vessel and must follow where it goes. You want me to keep going?
No. I would like you to stop immediately.
Hey, well, it looks like your beer is out, and
dude, I started halfway though.
Well,
but hey, beer's done.
Beer's done, so that means the show is done.
I'm pretty sure I had more to talk about this show though, and somehow we got diverted on the drugs.
Somehow we always get diverted. And hey, this is episode 9, and you guys check back tomorrow.
Hey, Twitter handle beer_guys. Facebook is
facebook.com/2beersandAguy, and the website is www.2guysandabeer.com.
Hey, you got to get better. You got to get better at remembering to say that every 5 minutes.
What we've got to do is we've got to have a board. Of course, we're on location, so we're not in our normal studio, so I don't have my notes around me. But on location, we got to have a board where we just click it up and it just says this is what we say. And as soon as we get on iHeartRadio, that's what we'll do.
I've told you 1,000 times.
1,000 times.
Damn, I just lost my train of thought.
See, and that's what that's what drugs do for you.
Yeah, they do that too. But I never did them to the extent where that should be happening.
All right, guys, we appreciate you joining in, and check us out on Facebook and Twitter, 2guysandabeer.com.
Appreciate you listening. Get the show up. We didn't talk about anything real provocative.
That'll be next. All right, guys, enjoy it. Have fun.
We should all.
She said I really fucked up this time.
Wait a minute, I had you muted that time. Now
I don't believe you. I'll keep saying it though. Lady boners, nipples.
Oh God.
All wrapped up in broken dreams. I've been down and in between. Seen hell more than twice. Been through the tunnel, never saw the light. Danced with the devil to the morning sun. Learned to never trust no one. So what's left?
I probably need to take Ray out. I know she's got to take a piss.